Welcome, everyone. I was just told that we have a new speaker, so it picks up everything. Oh, sorry, microphone. So anyways, welcome everyone. We are here at the Committee of the Whole meeting, February 6th, 2024. I'm Pam Cotter. To my right, I have Councilman Paul Pickett. Councilwoman Dominguez is coming as and Councilwoman Diane Turner and well, I thought it was
She's on her way down.
Councilman Adam Hogg, Patty, Jennifer, Mayor. Hello. Oh, GL, Phil, everyone. Thank you for being here. Okay, first thing we need approval of minutes of the Committee of the Whole of January 2nd, 2024. Do I have approval of the minutes?
I move that we approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Everyone say aye?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, perfect. Discussion item number 1. We have the Murray Area Chamber of Commerce report. Kathy White will be presenting. Oh, there you are.
You're right, Pam, I'm right.
I thought you were over there waiting for you to walk up.
So,
Welcome,
I just
Kathy.
thought I was supposed to be here.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Kathy, what is your position with the chamber?
I am the chair for this year.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. So I was actually going to introduce myself, so there you go.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so for those people that don't know, I am a resident of Murray, and then I grew up in Murray, graduated from Murray High. I was a police cadet for Murray City. I met my first husband as well. He was also a Murray City police cadet. And then we moved out, we got married, moved out, and I came back to Murray. So I am now living in Murray again. So, and I am the chair, like I said, for the chamber this year.
Great.
So, awesome. So can I just go now?
Yep, go right ahead.
Okay.
Present.
Well, thank you. So, this is my presentation, and I'm going to answer these questions. What is the Murray Area Chamber of Commerce? Because it seems like some people don't know what we do. Who was on the board? What did we do in 2023? What our goals are in 2024, and why we are vital to the city. And this is actually from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. And they say that the Chambers of Commerce work with state and local governments and elected officials to ensure job creators have a seat at the table where they do business. And trust in business is especially high at the local level, and Chambers of Commerce play an important role by fostering strong economies that enable employers to grow, thrive, and strengthen their communities. So why does the Chamber exist? Mayor Downstar, he stated that the Chamber is a service arm of the city to help businesses. It's because of the Chamber's impact that the sales tax revenue is increasing. And one of our goals is to increase sales tax revenue by the stuff that we do to offset the support the city provides. And this is actually from Mayor Hells, and he said that the Chamber bridges the gap between government, business, community, and education. We're a hub of entrepreneurial education, business development, community relations, and youth development. Liaison in the development of youth leadership and business prosperity. And we're a referral-driven networking resource, educational resource, dedicated to the success of our Murray businesses and committed to the development and growth of our members. And so this is the structure of the chamber. We have the executive board, the president, CEO, board, and ambassadors. And we only have one paid position, and that is the president's position. All other positions are voluntary. So this is our executive board for this year. That's me, Brett, the past chair. Amber is our treasurer. She works for AAA. Matt is the president, and then Sherry is filling in for this position until we find a future chair for next year. And this is the board for 2024. There's Elon. So that was the only picture I had. So Matt, Mike Henderson, Brett, Lenny, Amber, Zach, Luke, Sherry, myself, and George. You've probably seen some of these people at different events. Oh, actually, I'm gonna go back. So there are 2 of us that live in Murray and 6 of us that work in Murray. So this is the start of our ambassador team for 2024. And as you can see, some of them I didn't have pictures, so they have smiley faces. So what we did in 2023, and this is some highlights of 2023. So we, in partnership with the Murray Children's Pantry and the Frank Cordova Foundation, we delivered over 200 turkey dinners to Horizon Elementary and Parkside Elementary. And then we did a lot of ribbon cuttings to welcome the new businesses in Murray. We helped with the firefighters breakfast. We did the Meet the Candidates night at Murray Park. And we picked up gross trash. So it was really nasty. And there was actually dirty diapers on the side of the freeway. It was nasty. And then we handed out the youth chamber handed out hot chocolate at the tree lighting ceremony. We have our women in business. We were at New Murray City Hall, the dedication. And then we do this every Thursday. We do live training by Brett and Matt, and they educate on subjects such as you can see below, marketing, branding, advertising, sales, business development, staff training, entrepreneurial structure, habit creation. They are very, very good at what they do. And then we did our annual golf tournament. We donated $5,000 to the Spartan Closet. And we supported local businesses with their events and got a picture with Santa. And so why are we vital to the city? We are a key piece of economic growth because we connect to city and local businesses. We're that connection. And we educate local businesses on how to increase profit, which equates to tax revenue for improving community infrastructure. And by doing these things, the benefit will add up and ripple through the community. So what are we working on? So these are our 2024 goals. We're working on the coalition, also known as Communities That Care startup. And then we are working on large events to bring the community together, working on the gala to recognize local businesses. We're working on a hot air balloon festival, golf tournament, again, a teacher appreciation event, increase memberships by 10%, ambassador team of 50 plus citizen local businesses, and we're doing a bi-weekly business accelerator to teach people about something called Locable, which I'll show you in just a second. We're doing a leadership academy outline, and we're looking to start that in 2025. Establish a scholarship funds for the youth, community calendar, and support other community events. And so this is one of the things we're working on to get our goal. So update membership prices, which are done, find more ambassadors. Go ahead.
No, that's exciting.
Oh, so thank you. Find more ambassadors. We're working on that right now. Bi-weekly business accelerator. All of them are work in progress, as you can see. Teach businesses about Locable, and then the businesses join chamber, which will achieve our goal of increasing our 10% membership. And so we're with Locable, and I'll show you in just 1 second, we're going to increase the web presence for all businesses with a Locable account. And Councilwoman Cotter has requested numerous times a community calendar, and this platform actually already has that. All events feed into one calendar. And so we would like to see the Chamber's website similar to Fayetteville Main Street's website. They use Locable as well. And I'm going to show you that in just 1 second. So this is Fayetteville Main Street. And if you go to events, this is their local events, but they have a community calendar, which we have as well. We just need so other people start using it. And if you scroll down, everybody that has a Locable account, it feeds into their community calendar. So like, for example, cause you got the Parks and Rec that has their stuff going on, you have, all the different departments that have their own stuff going on, it
Senior
can feed
rec.
into one place. And so as of right now, we just have our stuff on here. But we do have a place for the community events.
And
So-
with the community events, it would have to be the city that inputs them, is that correct? Or are you guys doing that on your end?
They would have to input them. So I did this because I grabbed some stuff off of Murray City Parks and I put it here. And we've been working with Tim, the Chick-fil-A hot air balloon pilot, and they just flew over Conwood and they put another backstop in there so they can't put enough balloons there. So, because that was the
That
intention.
would be
Yeah, that
perfect.
everything would be perfect law.
Yeah, that was the intention, is for them to go there. The other option is Bonneville Junior High. The only challenge with that is parking. Parking's a nightmare over there.
And you can't do it at Wheeler Farm,
There's too many trees.
too many trees.
Yeah.
They took a lot of them down.
So,
A
yeah,
lot of those trees are.
yeah. So, I mean, we're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress. So,
And teacher appreciation event, what is that?
well, when I was cleaning the office the other day, I saw that they used to do this. So I'm gonna go look in the archives and see what they did.
Oh,
So I don't know yet, but we're gonna do something.
Cool. Looks good.
So, how many businesses are members of the Chamber of Commerce here in Murray?
So, not 100.
100?
100. It hovers around 100,
Okay.
between 90 and 110.
And do you know how many total businesses there are in the city?
Yeah, we just got a list in there, and a bunch of them are home-based, so I don't know the split, because it's hard to tell what's what.
Yeah.
But there's somewhere around 3,500.
Okay.
So we have tons of opportunity to.
Yeah, so if your goal is to increase 10%, then that's a very doable goal.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
probably a really low number, but it's the start.
All right, thank you.
How many are not from Murray?
Uh,
Businesses with the chamber?
I would say less than 10%. We do
Less than
have
10.
chamber members that aren't actually in Murray because they love what we do.
so-
So
Yeah.
we have people in Park City and Town, but
Cause I get that question a lot, is
the
that,
majority are in Murray.
okay, is that Murray Chamber is not servicing Murray businesses. So I just wanted to ask that and put it on the record.
so,
So 10%, you say is less,
I'll bet it's less than 10% that's outside Murray.
so you have about, what is that, then less than 200 members? Or 250 members for the whole chamber?
As far as businesses go, it's between 90 and 110 members currently,
Okay, total, but not Murray members.
total members.
Okay,
So probably 10% of that are outside Murray.
okay.
If you want exact numbers, I could get them and send them to you guys.
I only ask because I get that question all the time. I get that we're not servicing members within the city, and so that's why I ask. But yeah, I think if we can have that, that would be great. Cause that would squash
Good
that.
question.
That would squash that
You
myth.
just squash that
Yeah.
right away.
Good question.
Can I ask a question?
Mhm.
As far as servicing them goes, what is it they're particularly looking for us to do for them?
Well, you're receiving funding from Murray City. And so when it comes to Murray businesses, are we servicing them? And as far as we are concerned, I mean, I'll say myself, we are helping procure something for you guys to increase membership for businesses within Murray City. And if we're going out of bounds of Murray City and we're using those services for other cities or other businesses, then we're not servicing our members within Murray City,
No.
our business members.
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, our ambassador team, with the help of Belvon, they're specifically going to see Murray businesses right now.
Okay.
That's all they're doing.
We're not
Yeah.
actively recruiting outside of Murray. If somebody comes outside and comes to events or wants to be part of what we're doing because they're getting value from it, we're not gonna tell them no, per se, but our whole focus is money.
I'm just,
Yeah, fair question.
Thank
And the big thing about Locable, just real quick, it's totally designed to help them get more visibility on their business, whether they're in addition to what's tapped into the Chamber's website, but what they can do outside the Chamber's website to help grow their business. And we've got it set up where it's a free resource to all their businesses.
awesome.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Kathy. Awesome.
You
Could
are
we,
great.
Mayor, could we have the balloon launch over at the Public Works building area with all that?
Transjordan.
Come
Come on out, let's do it. Lots of land.
Sure they would love it.
I offered it to him right there on the spot.
What?
But I guess it's next to the freeway, right?
Hi, everyone.
All right, so we have Transjordan landfill overview and report with Lynn Potter
Yes, we have
and
Jared
Jared
Scott,
Scott.
the executive director.
Yeah, thank you.
And we also got Jill Fletcher. She's public education and outreach. Got some flyers for you. Jaren's the best person to explain our partnership with the 6 other cities and Transjordan, any questions you got, so I'm gonna turn it
Anybody
over
expert
to
on hooking this up?
They just are in the other room.
I'll go get him. Oh, Jennifer's the expert, okay.
I'm not sure what that comes up as,
She's doing it. Just have to plug it in. Yes.
Plugging it in does help.
No, it's just different. I got more.
Sometimes. There you go.
How about I find out?
Check that out. It doesn't take much now.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you.
We're gonna trash talk here today. We're gonna trash talk.
We're gonna truck trash. We are gonna talk trash.
Hey, you been around these guys or something? What do you, Paul acts like he's been around you.
I heard him all the time say that. I thought I'd beat him to the punch.
Paul, I've actually met you on my front lawn one day. You're actually my councilman. He's my councilman. So,
Lives right down.
I was mowing the lawn. I was mowing the lawn.
Was he on a blitz?
Was he riding
Last
my bike?
summer.
Was I riding my bike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, you
Paul.
were.
That's me.
And someone said I was only like, good deal.
I think you're my neighbor.
I live by Germania
Where
Park.
you find that USB?
Did?
Go up and down my district.
Right there across from the school.
Yeah.
Thank you, Isaac.
Thank you.
That's right. I wasn't even thinking that, so.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate being here. My name is Jared Scott. I'm the executive director at Transjordan. I've been there for almost 8 years now. Just glad to be here and update you. Murray is one of our 7 owner cities. And really appreciate Lynn and Russ, been on the board and have supported us and done a great job and all the support Murray gives us. And I'll talk about that. You're a special partner because of the power situation as well. As you know, we make 5 megawatts of power out there and Murray City buys that power, so. Yeah. I'm good,
sorry.
thank you. I'm
I didn't
good.
even ask.
Thank you. I'm fine. So,
Apologize.
I've got a ton of stuff I can talk about, so I'm gonna kind
I
of skip
know.
through this fairly quickly. If you have questions, stop me, but
Oh, I just wanted to see the other cities, but that's okay.
Yep.
Got it.
I'm gonna keep going forward. I went backwards, sorry. So our 7 cities that we serve, or their ownership, excuse me, we serve a lot more than that. But Draper, Midvale, Sandy, Riverton, West Jordan, South Jordan, Murray. We also get all the waste from Harriman City, some waste from Taylorsville, a little bit from Kearns, Copperton, all the area in the south half of the county essentially. So we serve a little more than 500,000 residents, take care of their waste. Kind of a history there, just so you understand. The landfill's been out there since 1958. So it's been there a long time. Originally, it was just Sandy and West Jordan. And then Murray joined in 1960, so you were the 3rd entity. And the interlocal was created there. We also get all the waste from, excuse me. I can hear myself talking to myself. In 1968, Murray joined, and then 1996, South Jordan joined, 1997, Riverton and Draper, and then in 2016, we joined New Era and bought the future landfill down in Utah County, and I'll talk more about that. The 2 boxes there at the bottom. In 2025, we'll be opening a transfer station in Sandy. That is currently under progress, about a $30 million facility that will be right next to the Sandy City Public Works off of 700 West, and that will serve your residents and your collection contract as well. So I'll talk about the benefits of that in just a minute. And then we'll have a second transfer station when the landfill is full in 2032, when we fill up the Transjordan landfill and mothball that facility in South Jordan. Okay, so our commitment to our member cities, the big things for us are low rates, obviously saving money, environmental stewardship. We are one of the most advanced landfills, if not the most advanced landfill in the Western United States. Safety first, forward thinking, and long-term commitment. So we have 60 plus years, I could argue over 100 years of solid waste planning completed with the space we have for waste, as well as some of the recycling and transfer stations coming on board. Back on that. I will say one of the big benefits of membership in the facility or in Transjordan, the organization, is that you pay $24 a ton for your waste disposal. That's a $15 discount over what the commercial comes in and pays for, which is $39 a ton. So all of our member cities enjoy a very significant savings in the millions of dollars year over year. We are a committed partner with our community. We use multiple solid waste management techniques. We're not just a landfill. The old term of, Transjordan's a dump, it's gone away, right? People come out. We spend on average about $6 million for a 5-year cell, engineering, designing, lining, and prepping, making sure that it's ready to go, taking care of the leachate, the gas that comes off of it, all the digestion problems. So we have residential services, including our household hazardous waste recycling that I'll get into a little bit, our transfer stations, and then our last landfill gas to energy plants. We have one at Transjordan and one at Bayview as well. Those are a big part of what we do. We serve our customers from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. year round. We pride ourselves on having a good facility. And on a busy Saturday, if you've been out there and waited in line, we apologize, but we do 2.5 transactions a minute on Saturdays. So we're moving, we're booking. And so it's really important for us to have another facility. We're going to be able to spread out our service to more customers, having the transfer station over in Sandy. That facility will have 5 scales, where our current facility serving all of our residents has only 3. So we're going to more than double the amount of scale and service opportunities we have for customers. We do have some automated scales that have just gone in. We did an R&D project, so our second scale at Transjordan does have this automated process. It does 2 things. Number one, it can capture all of the commercial trucks. So all of the Murray City trucks, and you guys are collected by ACE, are scanned in. They no longer have to communicate with a person. The weights are already entered in automatically. It prints them a ticket before they even leave. The gate opens. So it's automated, helps get people in and out, as well as reduces the amount of employees we have to have on site. So it's very nice. These same scales will be employed over at the transfer station. We'll have 3 of these, and all commercial traffic at the transfer station will have to have an RFID in their window in order to use the facility. So we're looking forward to that. Last year in 2023, we landfilled 412,991 tons of solid waste. We are one of the larger landfills in the state, in the Western United States. We pride ourselves on compaction techniques. That big machine you can see back there is a 836K compactor. We have 3 of those, and they cost just right under $1.5 million a piece. And we can get about 5 years of life out of them. So we work the guts out of them. They are running consistently 10, 11-hour days, and that's how you make your money. We sell airspace, essentially. The more waste we can fit, the better it is environmentally, the better it breaks down, the better we can plan, the less settling we have in the long run, gives us more opportunities for solar panels and things like that at the end. And so my staff is highly trained. There's some very good technology on there. When the operators run, there's a screen that comes on. They spread the waste, comes on to yellow, turns to orange, and then when it's finally compacted, it turns to green, and they have to get off it. At the end of the day, we get an efficiency report for every operator, shows them how well they've used it. So the hourly rate of running the machine now is up to about $280 an hour, And so for cost of the machine and the operators and the fuel, everything is tier 4 final for environmental compliance, as well as just making sure we're getting the most technologically advanced trash in place and taken care of appropriately. We do divert from the landfill. We are the end user. We try to educate people, and Jill, who's back here, is very into the recycling community. We try to tell people that, hey, if recycling is going to happen, it needs to happen at your house, right, at your curb. That's where it happens. But we do our best to do what we can out there. We did recycle last year 739 tons of metal. Most of those are probably refrigerators, hot water heaters, things like that. We did recycle 246 tons of hazardous waste, which is a lot. That all comes from residents. A lot of your residents use that program. Pesticides, herbicides, batteries, oil, paint, anything that shouldn't go in the landfill, we try to divert, and we encourage that. Paper and cardboard, we recycled 56 tons, 71 tons of tires, and 44 tons of batteries alone. So we really try to keep all that stuff out of the waste. We have 4.7 million tons of landfill space. That sounds like a lot, but if you've been out to the landfill, you can see we're filling up quickly. We have about 8 years of life left there. And after that's closed, we will button that up, put in another engine, hopefully, produce another 1.5 to 1.8 megawatts of power, and we will environmentally manage that facility forever, essentially. The EPA says 30 years, but they're analyzing that. I'm guessing that will be pushed out to forever, which is fine. We do a great job maintaining that. We have wells all the way around the facility. The entire landfill has a vacuum on it. So people don't realize, they think, oh, Daybreak is right on our border. We have homes less than 400 feet from our property line. And they come up and want a tour, and we're glad to show them. But they're always concerned, like, hey, the smell. You'll smell the trash in the open area where the trash is being compacted. But the rest of the landfill is like a large burrito that is completely sealed, and there's a vacuum pulling the air out of it constantly. That's what's pulled into the engines, burned, and creates power that Murray City purchases. And powers about 5,000 homes in the valley. So.
Do you take mattresses?
We do.
What do you do with them?
We compact most of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we spread them. We only take 3, try to take 3. We don't take any commercial loads of mattresses. We send those to the recyclers. We encourage people to take those to the recyclers. We've had agreements with some of the recyclers that have not panned out. There are 2 recycling entities in the state, and we try to educate. So when people call, we say it's best to go directly to that. But like a hotel or motel, we won't take loads of just mattresses. We just try to get them from the residents when they're like, hey, I'm wit's end, I don't know where to take this. We do take those. So we have a public convenience center. If you've been out there, that's the big concrete pad you can see there on the right. We have residential drop off, recycling. We transfer the waste so the residents don't have to go down to the landfill. That's where we divert the tires, take the refrigerators. We get the Freon removed. So the EPA requires that any appliance, anything that's ever had Freon in it has to be removed. So we charge $20. That cost is just a throughput. That goes right to the Freon removal company. And then what we do is take those and then recycle them. So that's a service where if the public has to do that themselves, they're charged between $60 and $120 to have somebody come to their home, take the Freon out. We really try to educate because people want to pull the Freon tubes and let that go into the atmosphere and then bring it to us and don't want to pay. We have to have that evacuated regardless of what state it's in. So we try to really educate and say, leave it alone. It's best if it's vacuumed out and removed. So that happens all up there on the PCC. The HHW program is actually a county program that we are a partner with them. Every ton that comes into the landfill, we take $1.85 to fund that program. So Salt Lake County, Transjordan, some of the other entities that haul waste out of the valley, they are charged $1.85 for this program. So it is no cost to residents. We do try to take the materials that are good and not unopened. We put them in a reuse shed. That material can be reused. We have a lot of customers that come out and take paint or unopened quarts of oil. There's no reason to be handling those things again. So it's a great program, and I'll get into it in just a minute. Where our transfer station is going to be the county's main HHW facility. Is brand new. If you've been down 7th West, that's that building in front. It's about 7,000 square feet. It's going to be a great facility for the county. So. Murray City usage. Murray City brought us 13,099 tons through your contract last year. That was 2,278 visits by the hauler, Ace, there. Your city trucks brought us 1,468 tons. It made 238 visits. That's from your public works and parks and rec and those people. And then your residents, we saw 3,018 tons from 1,689 visits from Murray residents. So,
I didn't know they're residents.
well, they're generally, they tell us where the waste originated, so we don't know technically they're residents, but generally they are residents. It's 80% of those are absolutely residents. So
When you go
So
in,
you
they
do-
ask.
we ask what city you're from.
So you don't show a driver's license with the address, you just take their word?
Because the cost is the cost, doesn't matter where they're from. We just ask them where they're coming from for data collection.
That was gonna be one of my questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Sandy Transfer Station, here's a rendering. It is under construction currently. It'll be a state-of-the-art facility. Anticipated openings early spring 2025, so 1 year from now, we hope to have major completion. And I'll show you a little bit more of that. This is the footprint you can see. So 7th West is on the left side. Parkland Drive is there on the right. That hashed box up front is Salt Lake County. And that's where the HHW building is going to be. And so our facility will be the big square there on the bottom right-hand corner. I'll show you here just a little bit more. So this is the current, this was last week. You can see those two big tunnels that are poured there underneath. There's about, we're up to about 450 cement trucks worth of concrete right there. Total on the site, we'll pour $8 million worth of concrete. Those are 24-inch thick walls. The curved wall you can see at the top is what's called a push wall. So the waste will all be dumped where that flat spot is and the tractor or the truck's turning around. And then we use our machines to push it up against that wall. It'll go down into the big heavy haul trucks that will be in those tunnels, and then that waste will be hauled from there. So, here's some other pictures, I think.
Well, then it sure be nice, it will be a shorter.
Correct. No mud, out of the, great facility, it'll have a state-of-the-art filtration system inside, quick roll-up doors, so it's not open to the air, no animals, vectors getting in and out, so we're very proud of the design. You can see the top left there is the east elevation, so that's looking, Sandy Suburban Improvement District is just kind of above that. The scale house area on the right, you can see the HHW building up in the top, and then that bottom left corner is the picture of the HHW facility. It is almost done, and they're scheduled to open by June of this year. And they'll be taking all of those chemicals from the residents free of charge at that facility. So if you went out there, you clean out your garage, you'll be able to stop, drop off your chemicals, your batteries, whatever you've got, then pull onto our scales, get rid of your trash, all in one load come out. The public has their own entrance, commercial has their own 2 lanes of entrance, so it'll keep the big trucks and the little cars separate. It'll be fantastic.
So when we have oil and paint, we don't bring it over?
That's gonna end as soon as this opens, then the ABOP down at Public Works will go away.
And then the residents will know this through flyer or whatever? Cause I almost came to you, see?
No, we're still accepting.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
You'll accept until that point.
When is it scheduled to open again?
June?
Did you say?
Spring of 2025.
The whole
That's ours.
facility?
No, the HHW is gonna open earlier. They're gonna try to open, the county is behind, but they're telling me June. They're hoping to
I
have it
just
done
mean the
April.
whole facility.
My
like your
facility will be open by March of 2025.
Oh, okay.
So the stats for that facility, we'll have about 200,000 ton a year run through that facility. That's 150 commercial trucks a day, 400 residential trucks or vehicles, and we'll haul out, so we combine that into about 27 big semis that will leave the site. So the great news there is that what it does in our study, our traffic study, is the reduction of air pollutants in the valley. As you know, air quality is huge, and that saves every vehicle coming from your city about 20 miles. And that's big. We get over 1,000 commercial trucks a day. You take all of those, times them by 20 miles, and reduction in fuel alone is just massive, just unbelievable. So, very excited about that.
Will this increase the traffic on 7th West?
It will a little bit, but very minimally. It was so minute, they almost didn't even include it in the study. So we were part of that study in the expansion of 7th West, and we actually put up about $98,000 for that little project they've got going on 90th South and 7th West.
Will it increase our dumping costs?
It will, but it should on the back end save from the collection fees, because the haulers will be able to do much more with fewer trucks and less personnel and their trips. So if a normal truck can get, say, 2 landfill loads, they might be able to get 4 transfer waste loads, if that makes sense. So it will cost, because it costs me about $8 a ton just to haul it from there to Transjordan. So we've got to increase costs just to cover our hauling costs.
Do you know what that increase will be?
Approximately $10 a ton. That will be determined, and the board will decide on that based on, we have Lewis Young doing an outside study for financials on that, and they constantly report on that as well.
We're currently paying 24,
You're currently at 24, yep, and
and you see it going up another $10, so
yes,
we're looking at, I'm not good at math, but.
$34.
34.
Yep, per ton.
Okay, that's quite a short jump.
And that can be, and so we're hoping for some, and in talking to, for example, Sandy, they're just redoing their contract. They're hoping for a great reduction in what that comes back at based
We'll
on.
be able to renegotiate our cost with ACE.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so we'll have to
Yeah.
work with Ace to do that.
Yeah, there's a big savings there for the haulers. In fact, they are very excited to not have to drive into the landfill, all the mileage, wear and tear on the vehicles, that kind of stuff,
So
so.
let's hope they don't see it as a great profit opportunity, right?
Well, hopefully it's competitive, and so there's not, correct. There is a lot of competition out there right now, so.
Thank you.
So the benefits, as we're just talking right now, to the member cities, shorter distance for east side cities will result in better hauling rates. Waste split between two disposal locations result in quicker turnaround times. Next step in long-term plans for disposal process. Residential, it's a convenient location, like we talked about, 90th South and I-15. The east side residents from Murray to Draper will benefit greatly from this facility. We're gonna have West Jordan, South Jordan, Riverton, Harriman, they will all go directly to the landfill still. They won't use this facility, so. And on Saturdays, we're gonna close to the commercial, so it'll be residential only, so we'll open all 3 lanes to residents and really get the residents in and out. For commercial, it's a faster turnaround, obviously, they love to be in and out, their highest costs are their personnel, and being able to do more with less is always a bonus. And then have a closer disposal option, a lot less fuel, wear and tear on their vehicles. So long-term, in 2017, we co-purchased the Bayview landfill. As you can see at that star, it's down in the southwest corner down by Goshen. It's a large facility. I'm on 180 acres at Transjordan, and you can see we've been there for over 60 years. This facility has over 800 acres, and it currently takes all the waste from Utah County. So South Utah Valley, there on the right-hand side, North Point, that's the north half of Utah County. All that waste goes down there. They landfill about 400,000 ton. Wasatch Integrated is an entity that is Davis County and Morgan County. And then Transjordan is us. That's the logo, the TJ there with the flame. Eventually that facility will accept more than 1 million tons a year, and they are $10.50 per ton. So this is a regional landfill, meaning the public is not welcome there. It must be a heavy haul truck. We can do it. We run that facility currently with 8 employees. That's why we can keep that rate so low, and only the big heavy haul trucks come in. And so that'll help us in the future as we haul, Transjordan is full, we haul the waste directly to this facility. That is the cheapest tipping fee in the entire United States currently. So there are some negotiated contracts that are a little bit lower, but as far as an advertised government subtitle D landfill, that is the cheapest that I'm aware of. So, great benefit to us. So, life expectancy is over 60 years. It will serve 1 million residents, up to 2 million, depending on who decides to use that facility, and it's a neat facility. I currently serve on the board that runs that facility. We just barely put in our renewable natural gas system there, and it is up and operational. That picture is the flare. We have a partner down there called Pine Creek, and they're actually going to compress and clean the gas and put it into the Kern River pipeline. So instead of making power out of it in engines, they're actually going to put it in RNG, and they're actually selling it for slow fill stations for Amazon and some of these other big delivery companies that use natural gas vehicles. So there's the 2 transfer stations we talked about, primarily serving the east side from Sandy, the west side from South Jordan. This is what South Jordan transfer station, if you're kind of an aerial of what my facility is currently looking down, the square building is my administration and maintenance building. You can see the scale house. The future transfer station will be just to the south, all up against Highway 111. So that's what the future looks like there. Same stats, pretty much, kind of divided the waste in half. We truly don't know how it's going to be until we open and run, because people can choose and pick where they want to go. If they want to save some money and they're in West Jordan, they need to go to the landfill. It's going to be a little bit cheaper, so we don't have to haul that waste. Our green waste program, I don't know if you know that or not, but we closed our green waste. We had a catastrophic fire in September. It was slated to close in November, but we burned about $2.5 million worth of equipment. Took us and South Jordan Fire about 10 days to put it out. Green waste is very flammable. It composts and is hot. So we were slated to close that program down anyway because the property where those windrows are has been sold. It was owned by South Valley Water Reclamation. It's on the corner of 118 and Highway 111. And they have sold that to a developer. And the Highway 111 will be going right to the middle of that property. So we no longer have a place to do it.
Oh, wow, I was just gonna ask you.
So we looked all over
didn't
the
realize
valley
it
trying to find it. There's not much money in green waste. The reason we did it for so long was because it was great diversion for space in the landfill. But property and then neighbor issues, we just couldn't find a place that it would work. The only curbside green waste program out there was West Jordan, and they've chose to put that waste into the landfill. I'll talk about some of the things of that coming up here. But we looked at all those alternatives. So putting green waste into the landfill has some benefits. People, I think, are a little hesitant with that, but for us, we don't operate a landfill necessarily. We operate an anaerobic digester. Green waste is great at making gas. It breaks down quickly, does create a lot of space once it does break down. Additional benefits, there's no emissions from those piles as they compost. Currently, those piles are just emitting into the atmosphere, into the solid valley. So that's all capped and closed and taken off of the piles there. So that'll be destroyed to the last landfill gas collection system. So
In Utah or no, with Transjordan?
it's actually in Transjordan and down at Bayview. If the waste gets into there, that facility is operated the same way. We'll put that energy to beneficial use. Yep. So there are some green waste programs out there, but they are private currently. So as you know, this is our landfill gas energy partner with EDL, and they make the power out of the landfill. We have 3 engines, and Murray Power is currently buying that. We are looking at putting in a 4th based on production.
You're close, she's saying we're out of time.
I'm out. I'm done.
You're done.
Are you?
We have Zipline drone that delivers all of IHC's medical out there on top. You've probably seen some articles on that. And some of the recycling updates. We have House Bill 107, education and outreach. We do a lot of that. We've visited a lot of your cities. That's actually Jill who visits your cities, does a great job, sees all your 3rd graders. And then that's it. Any questions for me?
Awesome.
No, you answered all mine.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your partnership
Can we get a copy of this?
You bet.
of this.
Of your PowerPoint?
Yes, I'll leave it here. So
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Even better.
yep. It's a PDF and a PowerPoint on there.
Okay.
All right, so we're up to Elvon.
Thank you, guys.
Neighbor Works.
Thank you, guys.
These are our 5-minute reports. So the next one will be Kim Sorensen, then Diane Turner, and then myself.
Let's see, plug it in correctly. See if it comes up. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Elvon.
I'll try to keep this quick. I know I only have 5 minutes, so.
Nothing's working today, huh?
Oh, were they using this one here? This was theirs. Does that work?
Because I thought,
I'm sure you did. This for Sandy.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes, Andy.
Something's happening.
okay.
I'm gonna drag it over. I know. I'll be really quick.
I'm kidding.
Well, now you only have 4.5 minutes. Just kidding, Elvon.
There we go. Perfect.
Oh, Neighbor Works.
Okay, so NeighborWorks. I'm gonna just be presenting a little bit on our partnership and what that's looked like. Started in 2010, 2009 Murray City conducted and adopted a housing study that identified some needs that we had. So we built this partnership with NeighborWorks Salt Lake to address those needs in 2010. And they opened the offices over in the Townsend House and also created the Murray Advisory Board. Our primary goals with this partnership is to develop programs to increase homeownership opportunities for low to moderate income households and improve the housing quality for homeowners. And the funding for those programs come from our RDA for the low income housing set aside through those funds. So programs that are in NeighborWorks Salt Lake that they have that we utilize here in Murray City, there's funding programs, so the down payment assistance, as well as home improvement loans and grants. They develop new real estate assets, and they also have community service events like Paint Your Heart Out or Rake Your Heart Out. And then they also have education programs for residents as well to learn more about home ownership. In 2023, we worked with NeighborWorks Salt Lake to create the Murray City Employee Down Payment Assistance Program as a pilot. The RDA allocated $150,000 to that. And then we also allocated $600,000 to NeighborWorks for down payment assistance and home improvement grants. 200 of that was kind of our regular amount that we do, 200,000, and then we also went more with 400,000. And then also they're currently developing real estate assets in Murray City, which is the 12-unit single-family subdivision at Tripling.
Which they've started, right?
Yes, they have started. They've started the groundwork there. Yes.
You haven't seen it?
I've got other developments I'm
I'm like, you live right there.
and you should see the other developments
know.
right there.
So across the entire Salt Lake area, this is what NeighborWorks has done. So they've funded 24 down payment assistance grants, 8 home improvement grants. I won't read through all of this. In the real estate development, those 12 are at Trip Lane, and then community building and engagement. They painted one of the Murray homes. NeighborWorks isn't here. I'm looking real quick. No. But they have said that they're going to be putting extra effort this year into the home improvement grants, spreading word throughout Murray City to our residents about how to utilize those grants, as well as having us more engaged in the community service events as well.
I can tell you personally, the grant is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it values, it's a big value to our homeowners who we want to stay here in Murray and have that as a good financial asset to them. Any questions?
I don't.
No.
Thanks.
Okay, that was quick, right?
Hey, yes.
Okay.
You made up time for us.
Yeah.
Now we're on to Jordan River Commission with Mr. Kim Sorensen.
Hello.
Hi.
So I believe I can beat Elvon's time, but we'll see. So I'm here to report Jordan River Commission, and for the 2 new council members, let me just give you a quick update or history of the Jordan River Commission. The Jordan River Commission was brought about in 2010, so about 14 years ago. Back in 2010, there were a number of organizations that were trying to regulate or plan the Jordan River Parkway, including recreational organizations, organizations focused on natural areas and maintaining a natural zone for migratory birds, water issues, and then funding issues. So there became a need for one organization to try and coordinate efforts along the Jordan River from the Utah Lake to Great Salt Lake, and it's done that. It now is comprised of all stakeholders along the Jordan River, including 15 cities, the counties, and state entities as well. So each of those members pay a fee each year, or membership dues. Ours is currently $3,600. That is that is figured on a formula based on the acreage of land you have in the valley, the area along the Jordan River, population, and that might be it.
It's not a lot.
A lot? No, that's not a lot. And that's a great comment. Most years we get more than that back in funding from different grant opportunities, so it's working well. Some of the current focuses for the Jordan River Commission include homeless issues. You can imagine that the Jordan River is a great place for those without homes to hide out and not be seen. Safety along the Jordan River. The commission goes to the legislature each year pushing for funding for these issues, and we've received money for additional policing the last 3 of the 5 years. Recreation, the focus is recreation in the river. You'll see boat launches and different things happening throughout the Jordan River. Water quality and quantity has obviously become a big issue with the commission, and they're just getting involved with that. And then funding to continue improvements all throughout the river. The commission has been successful in getting funding for many years to improve the Jordan River Trail. Now that, you may think that doesn't help Murray that much because Murray was the leader and could be argued that Murray began the Jordan River Parkway. But because of that, we had a lot of users coming from outside of Murray. We still do, but other cities have gotten much better because of funding opportunities and becoming aware of what they need to do. There's three main weeds along the river, including the Phragmites, the puncture weed, and Tamarisk. And you'll hear more about Phragmites and Tamarisk with the Great Salt Lake River or level, because those two trees or species suck a lot of water out to maintain life. They sponsor a Get to the River celebration each year in September. Next time we come, we'll talk more about what Murray plans to do there, but we have participated in the Get to the River celebration the last 5-6 years. And there are many, what we've done in Murray is we've done an education booth at Germania Park. We've done a chalk art contest and a 5K race, and this has become very popular with our residents. If you want more information or understand more, back in 2022, the Jordan River Commission, along with Salt Lake County, updated what's called the Blueprint Jordan River. You can Google that or type that in and read more about that, and that'll really give you a great view of what the commission does and how the Jordan River Trail and the Parkway is being monitored. Any questions?
Are you gonna go canoeing again?
Only if you'll go.
I will go, even
Okay.
though I fell, but I think everybody else should go too.
We
The new members.
can arrange that.
I live right by the river. This is my district, right? And we have a neighborhood that has canoes and we float it all the time.
Oh, that's awesome.
And my question is, why don't we have a float the Jordan Day at Murray, where we create a little festival and draw people to the side of the river and just
So
put that out there, you know?
we can do that. The opportune time to do that is during the
Yeah,
Get to the River.
Mm-hmm.
And the Jordan River Commission has access to canoes and those that'll help. In fact, the council did that, what Rosalba was referring to a few years ago.
Doesn't know.
I'm fine, see?
Yeah, well, we could do something
is
like that,
Jennifer.
and you're gonna see more,
Jennifer's
see
not
more
gonna
of those events. The recreation in the river is fairly new to the general public.
Yeah.
But you're right, it is something that's growing and growing quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we just launched there at Winchester and come out at 48 South, and that's a great float. It takes an hour and a half. So
Yeah. Some of the council and mayor office have done that.
Oh, yeah, you did go. Great. Cindy? Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we are now on to Association of Municipal Councils, Councilwoman Diane Turner.
All right, I don't have a lot. We've been on hiatus and just started back, and Jennifer attends with me, which is really helpful. We're going to start having the meetings at the council office, so that'll be nice, and it's the second Tuesday, from 12 till 1:30. It's called the Association of Municipal Council Members, and it consists of 18 cities. Council members represent from those 18 cities and 5 metro townships. And Salt Lake County provides support for us. They also provide whatever speakers we'd like, and it's a really good time for council members from different cities to interact, find out what's going on. We do a round robin, and it's a good group, and it's interesting. And let's see. Oh, and I'm the chair this year, and so my focus is to get more involved. And we're gonna get them all here.
Congratulations. Yay.
Anyway, so it's a really good group, and it's interesting, and we always come away thinking, wow, we didn't know about that, you know. So they do a good job, and I'll have further reports when we get meeting and have topics. I think our next one is sheriffs, right? Is the county sheriff. She's gonna come and speak to us, and so usually really good productive meetings.
Thank you. Okay, so it's my turn, Legislative Policy Committee. Well, what can I say? Housing. That's all we talk about is housing. So I have several pages of notes. I am not gonna read any of the notes. The only thing that was really interesting was this yesterday was when they were talking about, oh goodness, I'm gonna have to have Doug remind me, modular homes. And I really like the idea of modular homes. And please correct me, but modular homes are what is in my district. It's on the corner of Winchester and, Winchester, 7th West, southwest corner are the modular homes. Very, 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 very nice. So I support the modular home idea. They're in and out on several things, but what's really neat that the LPC committee, ULCT group, has now have videos of what they've talked about during the LPC meetings. They have a video, and so all you have to do is log in and you can get a quick update of what was talked during the LPC meetings. And it's Justin Lee and, oh, I forgot his name. Anyways.
Nick.
Is it Nick? No, anyways, Carson and Justin Lee, they talk about what they talked about during the LPC and some of the things that they're coming back with, and there's an action that we need to take. When it says action, we need to get a hold of the legislators immediately, which I've done a couple of times. Anyways, the one thing that we were brought into was the SB 161, and I'm just gonna read what was given to us. It was the Energy Security Amendment, and the staff recommendation is to oppose this. This is if an internal local project entity, Intermountain Power Agency, IPA, decides to decommission an electrical generation facility, they must first provide notice to the Public Service Commission. Next, determine fair market value of the facility and offer to sell the facility at a fair market value. The bill also gives the state the option to purchase the facility if there are no private buyers for fair market values. And the last one is to modifies the air quality permitting requirements for power plants, allowing the project entity to apply for an alternative permit. Right now, ULCT, LPC is opposing this. So that is my report. Once again, every time we come, Jennifer and I go in on Monday, and the mayor and GL and Doug and listen, it's like they're into one thing and then they're back into housing, then another thing and then they're back into housing. So everything is about housing. So that's my report.
Question.
Yes,
So do they have a fiscal note on the IPP thing?
For the bill.
It's on
Yeah.
the second reading.
no.
Yeah, and went out of committee, now it's on the second reading?
Yeah, they're getting ready for a second reading on it.
So they
It's-
don't have a fiscal note yet attached?
No, and well, I shouldn't guess, I won't guess.
Yeah, don't say anything.
Yeah,
'cause
I
you-
don't wanna-
this-
that's true.
It's,
Yeah.
Alrighty, so now we are on to discussion and ordinance amending section 3.10.410 of Murray City Municipal Code relating the procurement code and prior approval of contract modification. Brooks Smith.
Identify.
it's great to be back.
Because it's gonna be.
They don't care. They don't. Oh, I don't have my notes, hold on. Oh, Chair. You are the most prepared. How do you not do that?
Give you an update. I planned my Alaska trip.
Oh, yeah, that's great to know. Okay, well, I can't see my notes, so hopefully I remember everything to say. But I just wanted to start out by saying this is phase 2 of the procurement change. We did phase 1 a couple months ago, and I just wanted to say thank you to the council for making that change. It has been a huge help to our employees, and we're hearing nothing but like great reviews for that change. At the time, I should have presented this back then, but I didn't have the data to support the decision. And since then, I have done a thorough review and analysis of our change orders by studying the last 4 years of everything, and I feel comfortable and confident moving forward with what I'm presenting today. So, the goal of this is to revise our change order thresholds to improve efficiencies, eliminate the bottleneck and unnecessary duplications of our projects and services. I've set it up very similar to the last presentation. I'm going to talk about types of change orders and give you an example, a real world example. We'll go over the current code, we'll go over the proposed changes, impact analysis, and then, or examples of impact and impact analysis. But just to make sure we're all on the same page, the context of local government contracts. A change order refers to a formal request to modify the terms or scopes of the project after the initial agreement has been signed. So if I was a vendor signing a contract to make a new park, a city park, I signed that initial agreement. If I made a change, say we wanted to change the playground equipment to make it more AD compliant, like all abilities compliant, or we wanted to make a change to the bathroom, put a window in, that would be considered a change order. So the change order then goes through another set of reviews and we move forward with that, and it just maintains that transparency and making sure we're all on the same page. There are several types of change orders. This is a short list of change orders and the most common ones, but most of them are unforeseen circumstances or conditions, errors or omissions, change in the direction by the city, change due to supply issues. I did put a cell tower on my slide. I added that just recently because we had change orders at this location because of our cell tower that we couldn't get it moved. The performance units or the quantities, and then a notice of event, which a notice of event could be like someone dying on the vendor side or a sale of the company, something that would delay something to happening. This is a real world example. We have our theater, Murray Theater, and we hired Judd Construction with an almost $8 million contract. When they got in there, they were tasked with removing the surface wall and doing minor repairs to that wall. And when they got in there, they realized that the wall was only supported by toothpicks, and we needed to do some major repairs for the safety of our construction crews in there, our employees in there, and then future patrons. We were fortunate enough that they removed that wall, and we found this now because it would have been detrimental moving forward. But what I really want you to pay attention to is the initial contract value, which is almost $8 million. And then the change order is $27,000, but the change percentage is 0.34% of the total contract. So we have a large dollar amount and a small percentage amount. That's what we're talking about in this request. I want to say, let me go back. every contract we go through has a cover sheet similar to this. It has a justification of how we sign things, and it goes through a 6-person review. So a lot of people see it, and then we have them provide us supplemental information like these pictures so we can justify those change orders. Our current code says that the threshold for change is the lesser of 5% or $10,000. If it's one of those two, then it goes to an additional approval process of the purchasing agent and the finance director. And then the department director is responsible for providing us a justification form with those pictures or any additional supporting documentation that we can keep track of those changes. I want to say every contract that we sign, it goes through an initial 6-person review. So we have the project manager, the department head, legal reviews it, finance reviews it approves it for the funding, then goes to the mayor, and then it comes to me to attest everything. If it's over that 5% or over that $10,000, it goes through another set of reviews with the purchasing agent and then back to the finance director. So we have some duplication in there that slows the process down a little bit. My proposed changes for this request is to remove the lesser of and add a greater than. So now everything that would come to the purchasing agent and the finance director, everything else stays the same from at the beginning of it. But now the purchasing agent and the finance director would see the greater than 5% or over the $10,000 and over the $10,000. And everything else stays the same. We still have those justification forms that we follow, and all 6 other people still sign every contract that we change. I'm a very visual person, so this is what it looks like in review. But right now, everything in green on this slide, it goes to Laura and the finance director for additional reviews right now in our current code. My proposed change says anything over 5% and over $10,000 would still go to that secondary review, but anything under that would go to just the initial 6 people, if that makes sense. For just an analysis, I took some of our old change orders and did a little analysis of what it would mean. So here we have a contract that's $1.2 million. The initial change order was $14,000, which equals 1.35%. But because that change order is over that $10,000 threshold, this contract had to go to procurement and finance again for review. If we change the code, because it doesn't go over that 5% and that $10,000 mark, then it would skip that process and just stick with the 6 people. Same with the bottom 2 examples, the $652,000, because it's under that 5% but over that $10,000 amount. We would skip that if we changed the code. Same thing on this page. Here's another $500,000 project. We have low dollar thresholds. It's a little bit over the $10,000. The current code would require purchasing and finance to approve it in addition, and then future code would skip it because it doesn't meet that 5% threshold. And then on the reverse end, here's a smaller dollar contract, the $25,000. There's a $5,000 change, but that equates to 20%, so it goes through that review, an additional review or duplicated review with a change because it doesn't meet that $10,000 threshold. We wouldn't have to go through that additional step. Impact analysis. So currently, I did some research on all of our purchasing change orders for the last 4 years. And right now I'm estimating that 30% of our change orders are in that threshold of less than 5 and under $10,000. So the 30% of that is just reviewed and signed by the initial 6, and 70% of that goes to our purchasing agent and finance again as duplicated work. And the goal of this is to reduce that burden and reduce those tasks to swap that. And I think with this change in saying if we require the 5% and over $10,000, that would swap. And now administrative oversight would be 70%, and anything over that $5,000 and $10,000 would go to still stay with purchasing and finance for that secondary and duplicate review. So that is my proposal. Do you have any questions or
I don't.
considerations? Or
I have a question.
Yeah.
I just like to think like a thief
Yeah,
for a second.
Yeah.
The administrative oversight, are they as into the numbers as a purchasing oversight would be? Because I know purchasing is really careful about what they do.
Yeah.
Not that the other six wouldn't do, but it's like, oh, another paper to sign, you know?
yeah,
Pass it on. I'm concerned about somebody underbidding a project to win the project and then coming in with small change orders in order to get up to where they wanted to be originally.
Does that happen?
It has, well,
Yeah,
I
it
haven't-
happens, yeah.
it does happen. I haven't seen it happen here. Not that we
But
could
are
have
we
not
opening
catch
the
it.
door for that to happen? If we're now saying, hey, we changed the rules, everybody, you can underbid and then inch your way up, because
Yeah.
if you're under the threshold, you'll be fine.
You're under the threshold. There's potential. Would we be able to catch it right now
I was
with
just
our?
gonna say, be the same what we're doing now.
Yeah,
No different, meaning you could get through this so easy if you wanted to
yeah,
try to screw us. When I say easy, we've got 6 people looking at it right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And trust me, when it gets to Brenda, lots of questions.
Yeah.
When it gets to GL, I mean, I know when it's gone through,
yeah.
it's been vetted like big time. She's just trying to,
Okay,
And
Make
I'm,
it so that
and
the
I'm also
process-
part of the purchasing
and she gets it
department.
last.
And I get it last, and I'm doing a thorough check as well, so.
Yeah.
There is some purchasing oversight, but even though my role is more,
okay, I just wanna
Yeah.
lay that concern on the table.
Yeah.
I've worked with that purchasing part before, and
it's a
I've
valid
seen
concern, yeah,
contractors do that.
Absolutely.
yeah,
Oh, I'm sure they've done that.
Yeah.
I personally have looked, the ones I've looked at and I go over it pretty good.
yeah,
I'm not seeing that. That doesn't mean it can't happen.
Okay.
It can happen. I mean, I've
Right.
had to have the Cypress Credit Union when I worked there.
yeah.
So if
Can
you're
happen
comfortable with it, I'm comfortable with it,
Yeah.
but I just wanna bring up that
Yeah.
concern.
We do a thorough review. It's not just sign and pass on to the next person and say, like, all is well. But yeah, there is some research that's done with every signature that we do.
Yeah, and this is one to me, and somebody's keeping track of how many change orders have come from this project
Yeah.
and so
We do.
on, right?
Yeah, we do,
Okay,
we do.
I just wanna make sure that
reviews.
we're being very transparent about this, that we understand the whole scope of what's happening with this project, that we're keeping the contractor honest.
And we
Yeah.
even had, I remember, we've asked questions, our department heads are very savvy to what you just said. And so if that's happening, they'll bring that up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And say, this has been, we've had 3 change orders.
Orders.
And so I've been impressed the way they handle it.
We also have been doing a lot of procurement trainings in the back end and getting people aware of what our policies and procedures are. And so we have employees coming to us and saying, this is a concern, or this is what I'm faced with. How do we fix this? So we're very proactive. We've got some stellar employees.
Thank you for
Keep
clarifying
track.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Russ, did you have a comment?
I just said if they're gonna change, or they're gonna try to do that anyway, so I think that's just managing the project
Yeah, it is.
and communication with who you're working with.
Which
Yes.
all of our change orders do have to go through that justification process. So if it's nitpicking and we can start seeing that there's a, what would we call it?
pattern?
Pattern, yeah.
Yeah.
Then we can start calling them on that.
Okay.
I have
Yeah.
a question. What happens if they met the threshold for that project financially?
Then we go to a finance budget opening. I asked the same question just the other day.
Yeah, no, so,
Yeah.
okay,
So
so
they can do.
sometimes we don't get the budget openings until after the fact.
Yeah,
So,
They borrow from other projects.
Oh, so they
if
borrow
it-
from other
If it gets to a
departments.
certain point, there's a project that will not happen because this project.
no, it's a good question. I mean, I think
That's
it's
fine.
great.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, so, yeah. I was just curious, what happens if there's no money for a project?
That happens too.
With the theater, I'm sitting here and I'm like, how much more money are we gonna put into
Well,
it?
we budgeted for 10, I believe.
Yeah,
Yep, we did.
yeah, we did budget for 10, but
But trust me, we're.
Some of the walls come off, we're like,
We're constantly talking about that, going like, okay, we budgeted for 10, we don't wanna get close. you
Yeah.
know,
And now we're close.
And yet, that wall, I saw that, and I'm going like, there's no foundation.
There was
Yeah.
there was
No,
nothing
there was
holding
no
that up.
foundation.
This is why I'm almost here, I'm just like, I'd love to have historical people here. To be able to say, trust me, this is more money than anyone has a clue. And everyone that wants us to do it doesn't put any money into it. We
Well,
put the money
Yep.
into it.
You know,
You guys are
I think
awful.
one thing,
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think you're right about that, but I think one thing is being transparent about what that process was, right?
Yeah.
And like saying, look, this is where we were financially at this stage. This is where we were financially at this stage. And this is where it had to change.
Yeah,
Because sometimes, I mean, I've had to explain that.
yeah.
I mean, I live in a 100-year-old house.
Mhm.
I like,
You know,
I know what that financial cost and that burden is, but for a citywide, you know, to say like, we should financially foot this
Support that.
bill and support this.
I love
Yeah,
the
no
book
matter
brought this
what.
forward, because I love, like you said, transparency, and when we all get to hear that, especially you five that are making the financial decisions, it's kind of, in my opinion, for you to have this information gives you power.
Yeah.
And where someone comes here and says, and why aren't we doing another building? Well, let me tell you.
Well, no, and I think what I've really appreciated, even just going through this process with the change orders and changing your guys' limits, is really understanding the process that you guys do go through, because we don't get a lot of that information on our end. And I don't think, I mean, in my tenure, I haven't with the previous even administration at all.
Yeah.
So it's been very helpful.
It's been nice to be able to.
It's been great.
transparent, yeah.
Well, and to be informed in making our decisions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I
moving
think that's
forward,
important
so.
too. And that's why I give a history and try to show real world examples too,
Yeah.
so you know this is what we're really looking at.
Yeah.
Diane or Adam, do you have any questions?
No, I have a comment. It was a really good presentation
Thank you.
and you answered my
Oh,
questions.
perfect.
So I was waiting for it and you did it.
Oh, great.
So, thank
Okay. Thank you,
Thank
that's all
you.
I have.
Okay, we are now on to discussion on resolution approving an interlocal corporation agreement between Murray City, Salt Lake County relating to the Salt Lake CDBG Urban County Program.
Thank you. Community Development Block Grant Funds is, or I'll just shorten that to CDBG, are funds that communities, local communities receive from the federal government annually. And the funds are intended to help people or areas that qualify for low to moderate income guidelines. A city under 50,000 population must receive those funds through a county urban area. A city over 50,000 population can become, an entitled city, which
Just Ray Schultz dug out this part.
yes, because Murray just became an entitled city. So cities over 50,000 can actually receive the funds directly from the federal government and spend them as the city leaders choose. You meaning some of you, the last year's council passed a interlocal agreement to, even though we are over 50,000 population, to stay with the county urban area for the next 3 years. Mainly, I don't mean to speak for everybody's thoughts, but mainly because it came upon us quick, and we didn't, in talking with the mayor and staff, we didn't feel like we were ready to take it on as an entitled city. So we basically deferred to accept the funds and let the county manage them for us
For 3 years.
for 3 years.
Okay.
And then
Can we rescind that if we wanted?
we can't rescind it, but in 3 years, if we want
Okay, so
to
in 3
become
years,
an
okay.
entitled city and take the funds ourselves, we can choose to do that. And we're not the only city that's over 50,000 that is part of the county urban area. There are several cities in Salt Lake County that let the county do it. And now's not the time to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of being an entitled city, but there are advantages and disadvantages that you would want to consider when that time comes. So, since we are part of the county urban area, however, Salt Lake County allows us, Murray City, and any city that is in the urban area, to annually keep the hard cost funds for themselves. So let me just back up a little bit. So as part of the CDBG funding grant program, there's two costs. There's what they call hard costs and soft costs. So of the total amount of money that a city is eligible to receive, 85% of the funds must be used for hard costs. Those are typically things like buildings, infrastructure, vehicles. There's actually a physical something that you're purchasing or building with those funds. The other 15% can be used for the soft costs, which are programming costs. So things like counseling services, I don't know what, food banks, things like that, where they're more programming as opposed to hard costs. So what Salt Lake County is allowing Murray to do with this interlocal agreement is, if we should choose over the next 3 years to take the hard cost portion of our eligible funds and use them in Murray City for a project that Murray City wants to do, then we can do that. Now, we're not eligible the first year because the county already started the process before we signed the agreement. So the first year is off the books, but in years 2 and in years 3, which will be coming up starting in the fall, then we can, if we have a project that we want to do, like I say, a road project, an infrastructure project, the senior center maybe wants to buy a van. Those are examples of things that we've used in the past.
Get a new tree.
Again, it has to benefit low to moderate areas, so they can't be used anywhere in the city. But if we have like a Title I area or a Title I school or whatever, it can be used in those areas. Then we can ask the county to send those funds directly to us, and then we would have to work with staff and you as a council to budget those funds to be used for that process. So we think this is a good idea. It does allow us to control. This year, for example, if we would have elected to do that, we would have received about $140,000 that could be used for a hard cost project. It changes every year depending on what Congress appropriates and so forth. So I don't know what it's going to be next year, but it's probably going to be in that same area, around $140,000 to $150,000. And we'll work with our staff, and if we decide, yeah, there is a good project that we would like to do, we would come to you as a council to have it approved, because it would be an interlocal agreement with Salt Lake County.
And when you say it can be used all in Murray, that's including RDA area, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, any area that is benefiting low to moderate income.
Okay.
The county, of course, there are things that they want from the city. And really the main one is that they want the city to participate on their advisory committee. So we would have to designate a representative, a staff member, to sit on the county advisory committee.
Which is, explain, just really.
Well, so somebody has to decide where all this money is going, right? On the urban county. And so they put out applications, and a lot of organizations submit for these funds. We would have to provide a person that would make recommendations to the Salt Lake County Council on how those funds would be set.
Okay.
But we're willing to do that. I've talked to Phil. It's always, CDBG has always, in the past, in Murray, been located in the Community and Economic Development Department. And so Phil, without, talking about the specifics, he said, yeah, we're willing to take that on if we can get the money. So So that's what the interlocal agreement basically does, is it just gives us the option, it's not required, to say, yes, we want our hard costs, and then we have to figure out how to spend them.
Okay,
Any questions?
any questions? Okay. All right, we have 2 minutes for discussion on the Murray City Council Policy Procedure. Jennifer Kennedy presenting.
Alrighty then. So as some of you know, who were on the council last year, I started this project just to combine our council rules and our council handbook into one document. It's just the main goal of this at this point. It's not a complete rewrite of either of those documents, but wordsmithing did occur. That being said, there were some changes that I did put in, and they are on page 5 under the municipal elections. I added about the council.
I got it.
I love it.
Oh wow, these are great.
Someone take a picture.
So under the municipal elections
There's a
on page
video.
5, I did add a section about council staff during elections, and this is just, it basically says that our staff is neutral during an election, and that we kind of like it that way, which is better. The other thing I added was communicating with the media. We didn't have anything in our previous rules about that.
I had a note on that. Could that also include, like any, oh my gosh, press releases that the chair and the vice chair
Yeah,
should approve?
if that's not in there, it should be.
It's not
But
in
the
there.
chair and vice chair should be reviewing press releases when possible.
Yeah.
Sometimes you guys are under the gun for those, but I think when possible, they should.
Well, I think it's easy to send a text to say, hey,
Yeah,
can you review this press release? It needs to go out ASAP. I mean, that seems very, we get updates and texts all the time.
Yeah.
Yep, 11.
And the last thing I added was page 33 about risk assessment. It just basically, and this is to help Brenda out, it basically says you guys take the state auditor's training
Oh, yes.
in January following the election year. And that's what I added.
Could we, I know we don't have very much time and you have my notes, but I just wanted to just say, I did have some notes on page 7 about governance. When we do request for council initiatives, that we, under council initiatives, conduct research, but may ask council staff or director for assistance. If we can include that, wasn't clarified. I just don't wanna get to a situation where we ask for research and we can't do that. So I just wanna make sure that.
So I have some other things I want to change, but I wonder if we just approve this.
Yeah, just approve it and then
And
work
then
on
we
it.
create a committee next week to go through it.
Then we should create the committee before approving it.
But this is just, I'm modifying the rules we already have, but I feel like there's a lot of things in here that
Yeah.
we're not doing.
Right.
Like, it says to do it and we do it different ways, so we either need to
I
change.
agree 100%. Like I
Yeah.
said, my main goal for this
But-
was just to combine these documents
Yeah.
into one and add your policies there. So you guys have one document with everything in it, as opposed to a handbook here, some rules here, a policy here. That's my goal with this.
Yeah.
So I think this is like step one of a
Yes.
process.
And my goal
And then the
down-
committee would be step 2.
Yes.
That's what I would say.
Well,
I have lots of questions.
Yeah, then you're saying the committee next week.
So we approve this next week and then motion to create a committee.
Yeah.
And then we have 2 of us start going through it and start working with everybody to overhaul the things that we don't like or we don't feel like we're adhering to.
I feel like we already have it and we can overhaul it now. I mean, not today. I think we should do the committee first before we approve it completely.
We're just combining, we're just taking this, cause I have 2. And we're
Yeah,
just
but
combining
once-
the 2, and I have it in here also, sorry.
Well,
I
now we
also have it all in here.
But now we have it in one, which I'm saying.
It's not in one.
It's not in all
Right.
one.
Well, we have an example of it in one. And what I'm saying is if we approve it now, then those then become our rules.
Which are already your rules.
Which are already our rules,
Right.
yes. But there's some wordsmithing and some things that are left out that weren't in before. So,
Some things that need to be.
Yeah.
identified that we don't do and
Yeah.
determine if we really should be doing
Because
them.
we don't do the, right now, we don't fill out this form.
What form is that?
Well,
The-
that was the form that I was
initiative request
requested to put by you guys. That was a
Right, but
request
we
from
don't,
you guys.
but what I'm saying is there's some things that we don't do at all. That if by combining them and approving, saying we approve them, then we are now required to do.
Which I would like you to do that form.
Right. No, so what I'm saying is if we say, yes, we're gonna approve it next week and then just do a committee,
Yeah,
then we're now doing what's,
But these are all the rules we're supposed to be adhering to, so it doesn't, we're still in the same predicament either way, approve or don't approve.
I'm saying we should do the committee first before we approve.
But I'm saying committee first, committee second, we're in the same situation where we're not following our rules.
And all you want is just to have them combined.
yeah,
That's the only
With those
thing.
That's
changes
it.
that I just mentioned.
And then-
And I can take those out if it keeps it simpler. I can take what I added out if you wanna do it that way.
Yeah,
Okay, that might be the best thing actually, and then we'll just go over it. and-
My intent was always to work with you guys throughout this year on revamping these.
yeah,
I just wanted to get it all combined into one document before we did that.
And if we could have what you've added as another page's recommendations, recommended changes,
Absolutely, yeah.
then we can look at those and talk about it and decide.
we already, yeah, and we already have
Yeah,
that.
That's a good idea.
That's,
Paul.
yeah.
Because I don't wanna lose those recommendations. You
Yeah.
get
Oh,
the
I don't either.
experience.
I want them in there.
And I'm saying the recommendations aren't, I mean, you saw my notes, they're not like grand or anything, but it's just, to say like we're using some of this, we're not using some of it.
Right, and we
And so-
need to discuss them.
Yeah, and
too.
we need to discuss them.
So I think that's
Yeah.
really important, but just to combine them, I don't see a problem with that.
I don't either.
I don't either.
Yes.
Okay.
Alrighty, so, we're okay with that? So, I lost my paper, but anyways, if there's no other business, which I don't think there is.
Do you wanna start council 5 minutes?
Yeah, we'll start at 6:35. Council. Oh, we are adjourned. If there's no other business, we are adjourned.
Okay.